former Gillette Titans.
Now, Wilson is going to get a hand, a baseball hand. Look at the tightrope walk. Touchdown, Jacksonville.
From the DDS studios, we are your hosts, Blake Belton, Bradley Newberry, and from parts unknown, it is Matthew Two-Tone Blue Parker. Parker, how goes it out in the middle of nowhere?
Hey, it's the best place to be because I'm ready to yell and scream.
Boom.
We're here. It's championship Saturday night. Buckle up.
Little did we know that we were going to get an extra playoff game here at the end of the season. And, I would be remiss if I didn't say that someone on this panel predicted that this maybe would happen at the beginning of the year.
Look, I can't take full credit for this because I didn't think this would be for the division. I thought this would just be for the Jags to somehow sneak into the 7th playoff spot, but it is what it is.
Well, a lot of things have changed over the course of the year. We're going to talk about the Week 18 battle for the South between the Titans and the Jaguars tomorrow night. We're also going to touch on some college football. We're going to probably at some point address the Damar Hamlin situation. But before we get started, guys, down below, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button for us. Really helps us out. Like and share with all your friends. Check us out on all of our social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter at DDS Sports Talk. And you can download all the audio versions on your favorite podcasting platform. Newberry, let's jump right in.
I wonder what team I'm going for.
No, Lord, I couldn't guess. If you gave me 100 guesses, I probably couldn't guess.
All right, here we go, Parker. So once upon a time, the Tennessee Titans were 7-3, and in that exact moment, the Jacksonville Jaguars were 3-7. These two teams have gone in completely different ways. We've got one team that ownership is firing GMs. We've got the players indirectly and somewhat directly being called out. And then you've got this other guy, Doug Peterson.
Yeah.
Who somehow just rallies the troops. I mean, they keep the faith this whole one game at a time. I mean, all the coaches say it, but obviously this young Jacksonville Jaguar roster bought in. What do you make of this? I mean, it's totally ass backwards to me which ways these teams are going.
Yeah, I mean, if you would have told me when we were 7-3 that this could potentially happen, it didn't. We even talked about it at the time. At the time, I remember saying it was true. Even if it was such a small chance of it happening. Even if Jacksonville swept the Titans twice, the Titans still had a 95% chance to win the division.
Yeah,
this is the second longest losing streak in the Titans' history. That is why I am trying to talk Titans fans off the cliff, right? Where I try to tell them, like, hey, look at this game through this lens. Look at it through, this is where you're going to be if you won it. You're going to be in the division, or you're going to be the 4 seed if you win the division, right? So you either you win the game, you win the division, awesome, you're in the playoffs. Who knows what happens in the playoffs? Never know. 2, you win on the most epic losing streak ever for this team. If you lose the game, you literally got yourself in the best possible draft position after starting 7-3. There's literally nothing else you could have done but lost every game.
What did you see, Blake, in the Dallas game? Hint, hint, the quarterback that gives you hope for Week 18.
First off, we'll address that at elephant in the room. Dobbs did about as well as I think anybody could have imagined he would do.
And you were mentioning this guy's name way before it happened.
I mean, look, the reality is Malik Willis is not ready to run an NFL offense yet. That's not a knock on him as a person. It's not even a knock on him. It's not a condemnation on him as a player even yet. But he's just not ready. And I said from the very beginning when they got Dobbs that he could not. Everybody here? Nope, everybody back. All right. So yeah, he has similar attributes to Malik in that he can move around a little bit, but he's been in the NFL a while. He's learned a few offenses at this point. He's a smart kid, so studying the playbook's not a problem. And we saw in that game that when he moves outside the pocket, he actually is looking up the field. He's not necessarily looking to just run. And he's also kind of playing for a spot on somebody's roster next year. So he's trying to ball out. He's trying to do the right things. It's going to be interesting in this game to see what happens when you add a Derrick Henry, when you add all the pieces that were missing in that game, given the fact that he actually gave him a chance to win, even with all the people sitting.
Yeah, I mean, he did look good, and I'm not going to turn this into a Malik podcast, but the issue with Malik isn't Malik. The issue with Malik is Todd Downing. Like, it's like
sure.
if you look back and you look at Jalen Hurts, you look at Justin Fields, you look at any of these guys, if they're forced into a pro-style offense, none of them are starting in the league. They're all out. They're all gone. They're all done. And watching this Dobbs game last week, did y'all actually see there was a play where Dobbs rolled out away from protection? They shifted the line over. I'm screaming like, Downing, where's this been all year? Like,
yeah.
But where was that play? Like, usually it's just drop back pro style. They're actually doing things beneficial to the quarterback. I don't know. I'm not talking about just with Malik, but with a Tannehill behind this line, just all this stuff. So I was more impressed with Todd Downing in this last game than I was with Dobbs.
It was, I would go as far as to say it was his best called game of the year.
A lot of people like the Green Bay game, though.
Well, I mean, it's definitely between those two, but I mean, it's hard to say because you ran that offense that we loved all the plays with a guy that had been there for 36 hours or whatever. So, I mean, it's like, dude, I mean, where has that been? Like you said, Parker, I mean, and look, no one is saying that Dobbs is going to go out here and throw for 350. I don't think he has to. No. I think he just has to be serviceable. I think we'll get into kind of what we think the keys here are to the game, but yeah, I think Dobbs did an admirable job considering the lack of time that he had to prepare for that game. And I mean, it was an easy call for Vrabel moving into this game to start him.
I mean, to me, it's the only answer. You can't.
I mean, if you're playing to win, you put Dobbs.
I saw no possible way you could start Malik after what we saw from Dobbs.
No. Well, I mean, and like Parker's saying, I mean, this is not the offensive coordinator to guide Malik Willis in his first years in the league. I mean, it was the same thing with Trevor. It's not the exact same thing, but it was a similar type of situation where Urban Meyer was not the guy to guide Trevor Lawrence into this league in the first couple of years. And luckily for the Jaguars, they got out of that mess.
If they're running this style of offense, yes, Dobbs is the guy to start. But if they would actually do something to his – I mean, we all know what Malik was in college. If they actually did something like a gimmicky college type of offense that's incredibly difficult to stop, like 49ers were planning to do with Trey Lance, like Fields is doing, like Hurts, I can go down the line. That is actually, I think, the best chance to win this game. But since they are not going to do that, Malik does not need to be out there in a pro-style offense. If they're going to run the pro-style offense, Dobbs is the guy because they're just not going to change the offense.
Agreed.
In the first game, this could be a first key of the night. In the first game, the Jacksonville Jaguars had 4 sacks, caused 4 turnovers, and scored 20 points off of those turnovers. Mm-hmm. So a couple of keys there.
Yep.
Turnovers are always huge on any game.
Sure.
But
Dobbs
can limit it, I believe. I believe he can limit.
I think he
those.
can too, because I think he can actually change protections. I don't think Malik has any idea how to change a protection in the NFL. I don't think he has any idea what he's reading.
But Malik didn't even play. That was Ryan Tannehill in that game.
I was Derrick Henry.
I know, but I'm just saying.
And Derrick Henry's 2 fumbles.
Yeah, but I'm saying, do you think that Malik would be able to change a protection?
Well, no.
At all? But don't get me wrong. Behind this offensive line, it may not matter.
Yeah, I think I'm done talking about Malik because he's a no news.
But I'm with Parker though. Are we going to stick with? I think we will stick with the pro style, but it wouldn't surprise me for them to slip in some of these little plays that we saw maybe against Dallas, where Dobbs is rolling out. I mean, that would be nice to see.
Yeah, it's 10-1 right now, by the way, for Dobbs to score a touchdown, and that could absolutely happen. And Bradley, you're right. The sacks are big, and you remember who was big in that one too? With Dwayne Smoot back there, and he is going to be coming after it because guess what? 1 sack. This is the time to look at incentives. 1 sack, Smoot gets an extra $250,000.
No. So just to pause on your thought there, Smoot is out for the year.
Oh, that's right.
With a knee.
That's right. Never mind.
So
even better news for the
not
Titans. No, that's right.
Right.
That's
so
right.
he'll not be rushing the passer.
I was trying to look up incentives.
It'll be Josh Allen again. It'll be Roy Robertson Harris and Foley Fatukasi. They've been stuff in the middle. You can just go ask the Jets with that. But
yeah.
Now Fatukasi was limited participation in this week's. I mean, he's going to play though. I'm just assuming.
And Trevor, just like the last 2 months.
Yeah.
Ever since they haven't practiced, he's been a totally different player. Apparently,
he looks better now than he did before the injury.
Exactly, it's weird.
I don't understand.
He doesn't practice anymore, but he's
but
like Steve McNair.
But you talk about turners, and I think people don't know how big that Derrick Henry fumble was. The game was close. The Titans were driving. It literally lost. I will sit here and say Derrick Henry has lost 2 games for the Titans single-handedly this year. I think that we would have won that Jacksonville game. I mean, it changes everything. Titans have 4 turnovers. Like, think about that. And we're sitting here talking about how good Dobbs did last week, but fellas, he had a turnover-worthy play. He threw a pick-6 into Trevon Diggs' hands, and he dropped it. So, I mean, that is going to be key in this game. We just need Derrick Henry to hold on to the ball. We keep saying we assume he's going to, but he keeps dropping it. So I don't know.
Well, and that's my thing with Dobbs is, again, we don't need him to go out there and throw 350.
No.
I need you to go out there and miss damage. I need you to work the ball up the field whenever you get an opportunity. If you throw for 200 yards or 220, dude, I'm happy. You go 16 for 20. 200 yards, I'm happy, bro.
Oh, geez. That's a hell of a night.
That's what I'm saying. Like, all we need you to do is take advantage of the fact that we're going to be pounding the rock, because there's a history here with this team against the Jaguars. And when Derrick Henry I believe the stat is whenever he rushes the ball at least 18 times, we're something like 6-1 or 6-0 over the last 6 or 7 games. So we're going to be pounding the rock, but can we take advantage of a heavy box and maybe flip something over the top of somebody's head? That is going to be the difference in the game. Plus turnovers.
Definitely going to be a heavy box. What do you got, Parker?
Well, they did the heavy box in this first game they played, and Derrick Henry had 98 rushing yards in the first quarter. He covered the line in the first quarter. The Jags, you sit there and look at it, they have the 6th most tackles in the league. Derrick Henry hasn't played in 14 games. Or 14 days. I mean, just tons of time to rest. I just think, like, I sit here and say it's going to be a Derrick Henry game, which seems obvious, but it's going to be a Derrick Henry game.
Absolutely. You ask, there's been a lot of people asking which one's more important, Dobbs or Henry here. I think they're both important, but I think obviously Derrick Henry has to be Derrick Henry first and foremost. Because if he's not, then Dobbs is a moot point. Because if you're relying on Dobbs to carry the team, that's a problem.
Game's over if you're relying on Dobbs.
Yeah. I want to know, we're doing this on a Friday evening. What's the latest on Burks? In, out, truly questionable? What?
In. He'll play, I believe. Why not? It's the playoff game. Like, if you're hurt, get out there and try. And you have 5 months to heal up from this. But yeah, he popped up on the injury report in the middle of the week, which is never good. Not because good. No, like, he started off the week Wednesday, limited practice. And then Thursday, nothing with a groin. So he's questionable. But Vrabel did come out last night and say that they held him out for precautionary reasons. They just didn't want to get anything more hurt, but that he expects him to play.
Well, it's time, Trey Bob. It's time to suit up. Come on, Trey Bob. Let's go.
I'm excited for both teams that they get to play in such a high stakes game.
Hey, it's a meaningful game between these two teams.
It's a bad division overall, but both of these squads get to play in a championship game Saturday night. How about that?
Yeah, I mean,
it's not the Colts.
We were joking that who knew we were going to get to have an extra playoff game here. I mean, and we're serious about it. I mean, this is win or go home at this point.
Bradley, this is the first game the Jags have played in on prime time, not on a Thursday, since 2011. I mean, if that's how big this is, that they shifted this. This is the most expensive game to get into since the company that tracks these things, that started tracking these things in the history of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Wow.
So it is a big deal. I mean, it is. There's a couple other things out there. I think the under is probably a way to go in this, because Titans haven't scored 28 points in a game this year. That's only happened to teams that's reached the playoffs 5 times since the merger. So it's a tough one, fellas. I mean,
is the 28 there over under, or were you just mentioning that as a stat?
I'm just saying they haven't hit that all year. So the over under for the game is 40.5, and the Titans have gone under like every game but 2 games.
40.5.
I believe it's 40.5.
All right.
Yeah,
I'm going to remind you guys of the score.
I'll tell you.
Last game.
If this is a game that Jacksonville gets up a couple touchdowns, Tennessee's got a problem. The key for me in this game is keep away. We need to control the clock.
Well, you got the best back to do it.
I know. And, if our defense can be as good as our defense can be at times, that's our recipe to win. It's going to be low. Look, guys, I sound like a broken record all year. This team can only win ugly. It's going to be 17-14, something stupid like that.
So the score last time was Jags 36-22, 58 total points. But we've already heard that 20 of those were off of turnovers by the Titans. With Josh Dobbs playing quarterback and a healthier Titans team, how are the Titans better than they were in Nashville with Ryan Tannehill?
I've got you on that one.
Offensive, yeah, go for it, man. I've got my own opinion, but I'd love to hear yours.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. Mine's skipping on me. I said that like as you were starting to talk, so go.
I got you. For me, the main thing is we're going to have all of our pass rush going at the same time. We're getting our 2 better defensive backs back. So maybe our coverage will be a little bit better. I don't know. I mean, does it matter in this defense? I don't know. For me though, I don't know that a ton changes on offense other than the fact that we have someone that's closer to Ryan Tannehill than Malik was. I know we're not talking about Malik.
Yeah, because Malik didn't play.
But my point is we had to find somebody that was going to be as close to Tannehill as we could find. And I think this is as close as we could get. Now, take away the turnovers. Maybe Derrick Henry's not pushing as much, because, we've had these conversations off air a lot that, are some of these turnovers due to Derrick Henry trying to do too much, where he could have scurried out of bounds or he could have just gone down and lived to fight another day. Instead, he's trying to fight for more yards. He ends up getting popped and having the ball dislodged like he did against Jacksonville last time. So I'm hoping that Dobbs takes a little bit off of Derrick Henry to the point to where Derrick Henry can just do Derrick Henry things. And then Dobbs can kind of compliment him a little bit and make him that much better.
Parker, how are the Titans better with Dobbs versus Tannehill? I mean, Tannehill's the better quarterback to take things off of Derrick Henry's plate, and it didn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, he's better by like me, and by me versus Peyton Manning. Like that's how it's just. That's not the focus. The focus is, you said that Malik didn't play that game. Neither is Traylon. He is a field stretcher that changes the game. He really is. Chig also wasn't used in those games. He is a different part of the offense. But Blake mentioned it. If y'all remember early on this year, by the way, Fulton coming back, underselling it, massive deal. Hooker being out, also likely being out, massive deal. But early on this year, what masked that secondary with all these injuries was that defensive line. I know that we're missing the 2 edge rushers, but we have got Autry back. You got Big Jeff back. You have Rashad Weaver back. You've got these linebackers back. It's the first time they have played together since week 11, back when the defense was good. This is the healthiest this injury-ravaged team has been since week 1. They're still the most hurt team in the entire league. 51% of our salary cap is on the IR as I speak.
Jesus.
Actually, I know I've gone on injuries forever, but let me just explain this to you again. The Titans are the most injured team in the league. The difference between the people on injured reserve from the team with the most to the third, the Titans down to the third, is the same from the 3rd to the 19th. The Titans have 33 players on the IR. The Jags have 7. It is the thing. But this is the healthiest they have been. So lay it on the line, fellas. Like that, I really think this defensive line is the key to this game. If they can get pressure, we all know this. I sit there and you watch Trevor. He does not throw the ball away. He does not want to kill plays. He wants to wait. He'll make some big plays, but he'll also make some big mistakes. If the defensive line can get pressure, that is how the Titans win this game, and that is the key to this game. The defensive line is everything.
I don't disagree. I may flip it on you later and say offensive lines may play the role in this game.
I mean, look, our offensive line is what it is. I mean, we're too deep into the season.
Third in the 32.
Yeah, I mean, we're no one's going out and talking about how great our offensive line is. We're already shopping. We have the catalog out looking for new ones for next year, I think. So we're marking on our wish list.
Hey, he brought up Trevor. Let me tell you a little Trevor.
No, here we go.
Trevor Lawrence.
Give me some sunshine.
Accounted for 4 total touchdowns on the day, 71% passing, 368 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 0 picks. He added a rushing touchdown, which we saw in the intro.
Yep.
Dominant. I mean, look, the fact is, even if the Jaguars stumble and lose this game, the Jags fan, I'm not sweating it.
I mean,
because I sit here and I know that I've got the best quarterback in the division for a decade.
Well, I mean,
it's easy money.
That remains to be seen for sure. Well, it doesn't. So we just get to crown him now.
Crown him.
Crown him now for the next 10 years.
He did throw for 150 yards and no touchdowns last week. I mean, what has he done? He beat a banged up. He beat a banged up Titans team. He beat a Zach Wilson Jets team. And he luckily beat Dallas because they had a hand that hit their hand that fell into their lap for a pick-6. He's been a favorite 6 times. Trevor Lawrence in his career has been a favorite 6 times. Not only does he not cover those games, he's only won one of them. And that was last week.
That's the Urban Meyer effect for you.
Well, I mean, look,
it takes time to rewrite history.
He is at least trending in somewhat of a positive direction.
Oh, definitely.
I'm not downing him in that Todd Downing. I'm not downing him in that manner.
Don't say those words.
But we're gonna see how this Jaguars team reacts in this type of environment. With the stakes, everything's on the line here. Everything's in front of them. All they had to, both teams really, all they have to do is win and get in. The difference is the Titans have done this year over year. The Jags have not been in this situation now. And
I think a big difference in this game is that your staff hates your players and my staff loves my players.
Well, that's fine. But you know what?
They're going to play for
that's not what professionals do. That's not a professional thing.
What it sounds like.
Well, then you're not grasping.
Where have they quit? Tell me one player that has quit on the Titans that they've just stopped. There's none. That's ridiculous.
No, you're not being serious.
No, he didn't quit. He didn't quit. They just benched him because he's not.
He got hurt. What are you talking about? He was on IR.
Yeah,
he was on IR because he didn't know how to train in the offseason.
This is Bradley. This is what he's doing.
He was overweight. Variable says he's not a professional. Go to the IR and get it fixed.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
and he didn't get it fixed, and he's still in the doghouse.
Well, but that's not him quitting.
Well, I guess he didn't
not him
quit
quit.
if you don't ever try to begin with.
Well, then you won't be a professional for very long. The point is even if the management does hate these players, these players are trying to put together good tape for their next employer because no one's going to want them. That's how the NFL works, buddy.
No one wants them anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. This is just stupid. Let's move on.
This is a ridiculous conversation.
This
is a ridiculous conversation.
No
Down in the comments, tell Bradley how dumb that conversation is.
Who wants Swaim? I hear cricket. Who wants Dobbs?
What are you talking about? You're saying they're quitting, not that they're not wanting.
You are cherry picking people.
I'm naming starters on your offense.
No, that you just changed from no. You just changed from they're quitting to people that don't want them. I didn't say that people didn't want Swaim. No, it is not. People quitting versus not wanting them is not the same thing. It's not even that even makes sense. Quitting versus not wanting someone like that quitting is what freaking the Panda did, the awful pick there. Not wanting is just
quitting is what Jalen Ramsey did on the Jags.
Yes. Tell me a player on the Titans that's doing that. Not, he's not good. I can sit here and rack those off all day. Tell me who's quitting.
I don't know it.
There's not any.
I don't know it, but wouldn't it be easier to just not give it your all when you're hearing coach say you guys don't prepare the way you should?
If you're not a professional,
he keeps taking digs at them.
He's the coach. It's his job is to manage the players
by talking down to them.
Yes,
I assume he knows what he's doing because Vrabel on 9 days of rest is 9-2 against the spread.
It's about to be 9-3.
I mean, when you're a professional, you get called out for not doing your job. And you know, this isn't pansy world where you don't do your job and it's like, oh, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, don't worry. No, when you don't do your job, somebody on the team is either going to come see you or the coach is going to come see you.
Why can't the players do that?
That's literally what I just fucking said.
No, but why? Who is that player that hasn't been doing that? Why does Vrabel have to do it?
Well, because he's the coach, number one.
You don't have a leader in the clubhouse?
It depends on which side of the ball you're talking about. Offensively, no, I do not think we have one.
Oh.
I don't think Derrick Henry
was that person.
I don't think so. I don't think he's as vocal as you would like a quarterback to be.
I think your defense is fine. I love your defense. Your defense is good. I love defense.
You know, you would love Derrick Henry to be it, but I just don't think that's his personality.
No.
You know, and that's fine. But you got to have somebody. You got to have a dog. And right now, I don't know that we have a dog on offense.
You're going to have a loss.
We'll see.
and I'm going to add another trophy to my case.
The last time the Jags swept the Titans was in 2005. So it would undo 17 years of history.
Hey, that's all that we've been doing lately. We undid a lot of history by beating the Texans. Right? We did. It's true. We undid a lot of history by coming up to Nashville.
Congratulations.
Yeah, you did.
This whole season's about undoing some demons.
Well, the question is it an outlier or is it a new trend
for the Jags? I mean, that's why I sit here confidently saying that even if the Jags lose, I'm not going to be worried about it.
You just said they were going to cover.
It's a whole new world. I'm going to break out in song here.
Okay.
If the Jags lose, no sweat off my back. This was not supposed to be their year anyway.
Well, I there are a lot of
You're
people
going to celebrate if they lose.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. There's a lot of people that are saying that, maybe the Titans should just lose so they get a better draft pick.
Oh, come on.
I'm telling you, if you're a professional, you're playing to win all the time. You're playing for pride. I know, you're going to drop significantly in the draft. I get that. I get it. But whatever. I would rather have an AFC South title. Just would.
That's loser mentality. I had this conversation some of the other day that wanted to lose, and I was like, loser. Like,
loser.
If you want as bad as the AFC South is, you want to win. You want to win the playoff division. Like, you just do. This would be 3 in a row. I don't think the Titans have won the division 3 times in a row since the late 60s. Like, it is hard to win divisions. And once you get in the playoffs, I don't care how bad, how hurt, man, anything can happen. They call it Any Given Sunday for a reason, right? I mean, we saw Big Ben and the Steelers when they were 6 seeds go and win it. Like they're just anything can happen if you get into the playoffs. You just do not know. So you always want to win. And what? You want a higher draft pick for what? Draft picks are the most coin flip things ever. Like I would be more I think whoever wins this game would be more likely to win it to a Super Bowl than whatever the draft pick that's hired to be an all-pro guy. You know, that is just so difficult to hit on.
I don't disagree.
Well,
100,000,000%.
Yeah, I mean, do we think we're going to find our next quarterback in the draft? I don't think so. Not this year.
I think the next quarterback's on the team, but that's a different discussion for a different day.
Hold on to that. I wanted to call out that a history will be made on Saturday night, and I'm giving some kudos to Titans punter Ryan Stonehouse. He is poised to break a record, Parker, that stood for over 80 years. You're giving me some math. Tell us what he would have to do to lose this grasp on record.
Well, what they would have to do is they'd have to bench him and put his name on my back.
If they bench him, he gets the record.
No, put his name on my back so everybody thinks I'm him. They put me out there.
Yes.
And then maybe, just maybe, he wouldn't get the record. So he has to punt a minimum of 8 times and average 33 yards per punt to not set the all-time punting record.
Man, if we punt 8 times, that's not a good sign either.
I'm telling you, this Jaguars defense is not going to force 8 punts. No way.
Well, even if they did, they're not going to be 33.
No.
Like,
heck no.
He's going to kick it out of Duval, folks.
Now that's a good building point though, because it's underrated how important Stonehouse is in this game. And Bradley probably know where I'm going with this, because the Jags special team has got a field flipper on that team in Agnew. And he is probably what do you think? The best kickoff, best punt returner in football right now. So we've got to get some good hang time.
He's in the top 5.
He's in the conversation.
I can't
for
act
sure.
like I know them all, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Just kick it out of bounds. I don't know. It is a major, like, hey, I'm sitting here praying we can get to the quarterback. Praying Derrick Henry has like let's not let Agnew be the thing that beats us.
Agreed.
Yeah. I mean, I believe both punters will play a role. You got Stonehouse and Cook for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Both have had fantastic punting seasons. But enough about punting. Let's go to our NFL Pick-6. Derrick Henry, if you want to bet something, this guy has had at least 120 yards and a touchdown in each of the last 3 games against the Jags. He'll probably have it by the second quarter. Again, Travis Etienne's playing well. Trevor Lawrence, I've already said he's the best quarterback in the AFC South. It's a mismatch at that position. Quite frankly, I think I would trust the offensive coordinator for the Jags over yours. But that just happens to be my head coach.
Yeah, well,
I trust my dog over that quarterback.
Yeah, right.
So
you're preaching to the choir here, buddy.
It's a complete mismatch here on paper, on the game, and this is the Jags will get to rest their starters heading into the playoffs. Not close, folks. Sorry for everyone that has to watch this beatdown on Saturday night. Give me the Jags minus 6.5.
Not even close.
Nope.
Not even close to what he just said. Go ahead and mute him. Not even close to what he just said. This is going to be a tight game. This is actually, in my opinion, kind of nice that a Week 18 game means something in the AFC South. Bradley's always said, ain't nobody getting out of Duval alive in Week 18.
Nope.
Call me a homer. I don't care. I do not care if you call me a homer. Titans, it's going to be ugly, folks. 27-24. Titans. Too hot to handle. Randall walks it the off.
You know, Henry's had some fumbling problems this year. Coming into the year, he's had 11 fumbles for its entire career. It's over 7 seasons. This year, he's got 6. Trevor has 11 fumbles this year. He has 9 last year. The 2 guys with more than that over 2 seasons are a rushing quarterback in Justin Fields and old man Matt Ryan. That is the list, then Trevor Lawrence. I think this defensive line is going to get to him, and they are going to cause issues. And Bradley talks about Etienne playing well. Well, the last time he played the Titans, he ran it 17 times and averaged 1.9 yards per rush. Give me the home away from home in the Jeff Fisher Wrong Team Favorite Bowl. Titans, bring it home.
All right. The battle for the South.
See you in the offseason, boys.
Hey, I do have something fun, Bradley, you'll like. So I can't believe I put the spoot thing in there, but there's a lot of incentives in this game. We were sitting here talking last time about how Evan Ingram could go off, right? Because, Titans suck at covering tight ends. Well, guess what? Evan Ingram needs 61 yards for a $200,000 bonus, and his over-under is set at 46.
Uh-oh.
And on top of him wanting that money, this is a 1-year expiring contract. He wants a mega deal, y'all. He doesn't want another 1-year deal. Zay Jones is in the same thing. 98 yards receiving for $250,000 and 2 receptions for $250,000.
Oh, man, he would have had that. That guy's had like 8 drops this year. Jeez.
Christian Kirk, 91 yards for $500K and 2 receptions for another $500K. We need to talk about the stadium at some point too. But anyway, I had to drop those numbers. They're kind of fun.
Yeah, nice. Stadium talks for off season. We got plenty of pod time for all that. But yeah, there is news about Jags and stadium upgrades.
You can look that up while we're paying attention to our games in the postseason.
Moving on. Brandon, this one's for you. This is the first game tomorrow night, Saturday football, Kansas City at Las Vegas Raiders. The Chiefs can earn the AFC's #1 seed with a win over the Raiders. Kansas City, though, has struggled at times. Just go look at last week's game against Russell Wilson, the Denver Broncos. Does anyone believe in Jared Stidham?
No.
I'm waiting.
Okay. That's a no, Brandon. Newbie.
I don't.
I guess he played okay. The Chiefs don't blow out anybody, so I guess my pick is I'm going to take Raiders in the points. I think the Chiefs win, but I'll take the points.
Yeah, I'm going the same way. I think this is a touchdown game. I think it's at 9 right now.
9.5 creeping.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going Raiders in the points.
So the Raiders have either set NFL records or tied NFL records this year. And let me just tell you, none of these things are good. They have 9 one-score losses. They have 5 losses when leading entering the fourth quarter, 5 losses with double-digit leads, and 0-4 the double-digit lead at halftime. They've been in 4 overtime games. I think that might be more on the coaching staff there. And y'all are right about Mahomes. When he's a favorite of more than 3, he's 9-23 against the spread for his career. But can Stidham do what he did last week? I don't know. And we were sitting here talking about incentives. Mahomes needs 430 passing yards to beat Manning's NFL passing yards.
Surely not this game. Good Lord.
He knows that, by the way.
They all know it. They absolutely know it. And this is a divisional game. Mahomes is 26-3 against the division and 8-1 against the Raiders, and they scored in more than 28 points in every Raiders game. It's just on the road against the Raiders. Mahomes is 4-0 with 15 touchdowns and 1 interceptions. Man, give me Mahomes. Give me the. I'll take it. I think
you'll lay the points and take Kansas City.
He's going big.
Now we go to an AFC North showdown. There's no Lamar Jackson. Cincinnati hasn't played in a long time because of the unfortunate incident that happened on Monday Night Football. We're looking at Baltimore, Cincinnati, and golly, man, this line is ballooned. It's currently on DraftKings at 9.5 for Cincinnati. Again, Parker's preached it on this podcast many times. Divisional game. They're usually closer games. I know it's not Lamar, but I got to take plus 9.5 in the Ravens.
Man, that's a lot. That is a lot. But you know what? I think with the emotion still riding high from everything that transpired like this last week, I think I'll go Joey Football as well.
Bradley, you should have listened to that one on that first game breakdown on the divisional games. And you're right, Lamar may not be playing, but Tyler Huntley is also hurt. So it could be the well-known Baltimore Raven Anthony Brown at quarterback. I don't even know what to do with that. Like, what is going on with what's going on with Lamar? Like, this when it happened, it was supposed to be a couple of week injury, and when was the last time he played? Like 6 weeks ago?
Harbaugh doesn't even want to talk about it anymore.
So
he's looking for a place in the Gulch down in Nashville.
Maybe Lamar is the
what
next
he's doing.
quarterback of the Titans.
So y'all
You have Lamar and Malik.
You joke about that.
No,
Hey,
Lamar and Malik.
well,
they can-
you would only need one.
They can learn something from Lamar.
Well, it's not. If they need to learn something from their play callers, what they need to do. Lamar has missed 8 of the last 20 games for the Ravens, and I want to go down a little conspiracy road here because some people think he's not back because of a contract dispute.
Ooh,
The
he's doing
worst-
a little Jalen Ramsey to him.
The worse this Ravens team looks without him, and they look terrible, the more he is actually going to get paid because he's that important to the team. I don't know if I buy that, but it's kind of fun to think about. But I don't know. I don't know what to do with this game. Just give me Cincinnati, just because since Anthony Brown might be playing at quarterback. I don't know.
That makes me chuckle every time you say that.
I don't know who he is.
Let's go. I'm down for Brown in this game.
Oh Lord. Oh,
Then we go to the final game of the NFL regular season. We're looking at Detroit going to cold. I'm sure it's going to be cold. Lambeau Field in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Oh boy. I mean, we got Aaron Rodgers. We got coach for Detroit, the madman, Jared Goff, of all people. Amon St. Brown. Parker loves that guy. You got
Should be a Titan.
DJ Chark. Is DeAndre Swift still up there? I don't know.
I
He's
have
running
no
the rock.
idea. I have no idea anymore.
Divisional game. Could be for winning in. We'll see. We'll see what the Rams do with Seattle. I'm taking the points again. I'm going Detroit plus 4.5 or plus 5, whatever it is. Give me the points. They could win.
I don't know what the weather is. I don't know what the weather is. Parker probably knows what the weather
he'll
is.
tell us.
It's gonna be cold as hell. But the thing that's screwed up about this is that the NFL did disservices to teams all across the league. This should be the Titans-Jags game because by the time this game kicks off, Bradley mentioned it, it could be meaningless to the Lions. The Titans-Jags game is the only game that stands alone that cannot be impacted by any other outcome in the NFL. It's all about the TV contract. Sunday Night Football is the most watched thing, and NBC said, "Give me the Packers." That's why it's there. But just to show you how far these teams have come, after 6 games, the first 6 games, the Lions had a 0.3% chance of making the playoffs, and the Packers had a 1% chance to make the playoffs, which I just think is absolutely remarkable.
What do the Jags have? Less than that?
Not less than 0.3. I mean, because
2 and what do you say? 6 games, so they were 2 and 4 for sure. They were 2 and 5 at one point.
the problem is that the Vikings were so far ahead. They're even further ahead than the Titans were.
Because it took out the division chance.
Yeah, so that didn't even exist anymore. You still had the Titans, and you still had 2 matchups with them. You know, you could bring it back, but Packers are 27-3 in their last 30 games at home. It's cold. I've said it a million times. Jared Goff has baby girl hands, and he's not good in the cold. Yeah, give me the Packers to roll on this one. Lions stubbed their toe in the first primetime game of the year, by the way.
Really? I didn't realize that.
So you don't count Thanksgiving as prime time? Oh no,
Thanksgiving morning. It was
That's a
morning.
Thursday.
Yeah, well, I'm going Packers too.
Oh.
That's why I was saying about the weather. I just don't think that it's going to work out for old Jared Goff.
Best bet times. I have a feeling these two are on some props. Blake, what did you see?
Whatever Derrick Henry's rushing yards are, I'm taking the over. We got to have it to win, and there's history there that says it's going to happen. So give me the over for whatever the rushing yards are.
What is it set at, Mr. Prop Parker?
It is set at 92.5, and I almost started this
thought he said, I thought you said you almost farted.
Well, almost did that too, but I almost started and said, hey, wait, let me get this out. Because a couple of hours ago, this was at 88. It's gone up 4.5 yards in a couple of hours.
Wow.
So it's going to keep on going up. I mean, if he doesn't get it, like it's just it's over. Then Brad's prediction's right, and they just absolutely get rolled. But it's freaking Derrick Henry with a guy playing quarterback that wasn't on the team 2 weeks ago. They're going to give him the ball like 40 times.
They should.
Just give me the over. I'm matching like on this. It can be 112 if I would take it.
Yeah.
So y'all are going to have the same. Henry over rushing yards.
It's the best bet. It's the best bet of the week. Has to be.
Go pull up your little DraftKings thing. Or did you already X out of it?
Yeah, pull it up.
What I'm looking at is I'm looking at the New England Buffalo game. Emotions running at an all-time high for good reasons. Damar Hamlin, the breathing, what did they have in his throat? Just the tube there?
Yeah, they had an intubation tube in.
It was taken out earlier today. He has spoken with his team. Inspirational for sure. I absolutely think the Bills are about to whack somebody. And the Patriots just happen to be in the way. I'm taking the Bills minus 50. I think they're going to absolutely kill the Patriots this week.
Yeah, I think you're on to something there. This is a team that's riding on a lot of emotion right now. A lot of do it for DeMar kind of stuff is going to be happening. So I think that's a pretty good one too.
Bradley, last time these teams played in a really meaningful game in the playoffs last year, it's basically a playoff game. Buffalo scored on every single drive. A touchdown. All of them.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Until the end when they needed, when they were up by 50.
When they were up by 50. Yeah, underdog time. It's always tougher in this league to look at and try to pick a dog. I'm just going to go with a fun one here because
go ahead and do it because I think you got the same one I do.
I think if the Rams and Baker Mayfield can go into Seattle and win, it's going to cause some of that negative controversy there where it's totally messed up the last game of the year. I like chaos. Give me the Rams to upset the Seattle Seahawks.
Do it, Baker. That's what I got as my dog too.
All right.
I'm going with Baker and the Rams.
You know why it's going to happen? It's going to happen because the football gods, like we talked about Tom Brady breaking the record at home, all this stuff works. If the Rams beat the Seahawks, that Detroit Lion game is meaningful.
Nope. I mean,
it makes Detroit to be able to get in the playoffs. So it'll make that Sunday night football.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It would be a win and in.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It would be perfect.
All right.
I thought about that one, but I'm going to go with the unknown. And that's seems how you can get these underdogs in the NFL when you just don't know. So I'm going to go with the Panthers. Let's see here.
New Orleans.
Yes, I'm going to go with the Panthers to win this game. It's a meaningless game. Sam Howell's getting the start for the Panthers. He's going to be motivated to try. He might suck, but at least I know he's not going to quit. There's a difference between sucking and quitting. Also, the Saints D is typically better against the pass than the run, and the Panthers are going to run this ball like 75% of the time.
Boy, oh boy.
Those were our picks. Now, before we end the show, we're going to extend it just a little bit. We're going to talk about college football for just a second. We're going to have the quick reactions on the UT Vols 31-14 victory over Clemson in what I call the orangest of Orange Bowls. What were your thoughts?
The true orange, as the cream does, rose to the top. We finally put an end to this ACC nonsense that's been happening all year with Clemson. Don't want to hear about it. I don't want to hear about Cade Klubnik. He just looked like another freshman quarterback. Well, let me rephrase that. I'm going to tell you this. People have been hating on DJ all year. That team looked exactly like they did with DJ, in my opinion. I saw a kid throwing the ball up off his back foot. I saw a kid being chased for his life. I saw a freaking freshman quarterback that I there's no way he doesn't have broken ribs. There's zero chance. He was getting pummeled the entire game. The defense did what they had to do. I mean, and this is a defense that, there's been a lot of talk about how not great they are. But, I mean, they did what they had to do. I mean, they're still better than an ACC offense. I can tell you that. The best ACC offense, arguably. I don't know.
I don't have much, so I'll just say quick shout out to Milton. Quick shout out to the defense and causing that poor touted kicker from Clemson to go wide left, wide right, wide up, wide down. I mean, he couldn't hit the broadside of the barn.
He was supposed to be, a really good kicker too. Yeah. Joe Milton.
Kudos to you guys.
A little bit of a preview there. We'll see. We'll get into that a little bit more in the offseason.
Parker,
great
what
job.
What thoughts?
I just thought it was nice to watch. It was nice to relax and watch a game and be like, even when it was close, it wasn't close. Like I just was like, this is nice. Just like sit back, have a drink, eat some pizza, and just enjoy the game and not freak out about it. So, we talked about this earlier that certain teams care about being in these games. And Clemson, once they got knocked out of the college football playoffs, they just didn't care, and it was apparent.
Yep.
So speaking of the playoffs, you couldn't really relax very much in either one of these games, as you had TCU, Michigan putting up 96 ungodly points, 51 to 45. TCU wins.
Look, the dream season keeps going for TCU. Now I will say there was zero defense, zero tackling. Every time we were out to eat, whenever that was happening, and we kept looking up and we're like, well, shit, they're about to score again.
Oh.
I mean, it was just every time you turned around, one team was missing a tackle and letting them run for a 65-yard touchdown. It was ridiculous. But hey, TCU's getting it done. They're doing what they got to do. I have a feeling that they're running into the wrong team, though.
Save it. We'll get there.
We'll see.
Parker, what do you have any takeaways from Michigan? TCU.
Michigan's trash. We can talk even more about that here in a minute. But I was in downtown Fort Myers, Florida, celebrating New Year's, and we were like at a bar and it was on, and I would like order a drink and look up, and it was 14 points more. It was incredible. Like I had points left over like on a jukebox to play some music, and I looked at a song and I look up, I'm like, holy crap, they scored 2 more touchdowns. So yeah, zero defense. It was fun. I'm glad TCU won. Shake it up. I want different. I want chaos. It's the reason I wanted to expand the playoffs.
Come on, Sonny. Let's go, Sonny.
Let's do it.
Could be. And then you had the nightcap with the UGA down.
What a freaking game.
Just about the entire time. There were some juicy live money lines floating out there towards the end of the game that some of us may have taken advantage of. But Georgia wins 42-41. What were you doing as that kick wobbled like a helicopter wide left and never got off the ground very much?
Oh, we were standing looking over the bar, waiting with bated breath, along with every other male in that bar, trying to figure out what was going to happen there. And I mean, hey, great game, very exciting game. A lot of talk about CJ Stroud coming into that game. Was he an elite quarterback? He proved, hey, I'm here to play. He did that help his draft stock? I don't know.
Will Levis said no.
But did it show some chinks in the armor of the Georgia defense? Is the other question. Maybe so, because
we'll see. We'll get there. We'll get there. What were your thoughts about UGA, Ohio State?
I thought the wrong team won that game. I thought Ohio State played better.
I think they outplayed them.
I did too. In fact, I thought that they were about to end it at the beginning of the fourth quarter. I thought, all right, this is about to get ugly. And hey, credit Stetson Bennett. I mean, he stepped up and they played well. It felt like just watching that game. I watched all of that. It felt like Ohio State was a better team than that to me. I
got a question. You two are obviously Vols fans. What's Eric Ainge's beef with Stetson Bennett? Have you seen this?
I don't know, but if I had to guess, just from Eric Ainge in the past, he probably just thinks he's not that great of a quarterback.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, honestly, I think every college, let me rephrase it, every SEC fan that's not a Georgia fan probably can't stand look at Stetson Bennett because he's 45 years old playing in college. But hey, he gets the job done. That's all you can really say.
I just don't know where the anger came from. Like what kind of
It's because he plays for
on
Georgia,
his
right?
radio show or whatever.
I mean, I just assumed it's because he played for, he played for
Yeah,
Georgia. And
I
he was
would too.
Tennessee
And that's
guy.
kind of
some of it.
well, that's kind of some of Eric Ainge's shtick is he kind of he craps on quarterbacks because he was a high level SEC quarterback too. So he thinks that he's got, the right to sit there and say that this quarterback's not very good. And I like it or not. I don't know. I have no opinion on it either way.
Were you able to pull it up or did you look?
I was just looking at exactly what his quote was because I saw something about it and I was trying to pull it just to make sure I didn't misquote it. He said, "I'm cheering hard against him. I want Georgia not just to lose the game. I want them to lose with Stetson Bennett throwing 4 touchdowns. I want Stetson Bennett to throw 4 picks and cost his team a championship. He's such a punk."
Jeez. I mean, did he kick Ainge's dog? What the hell?
I don't know. He beat his Vols early in the year. That's what he did.
Yeah, that's seriously probably.
It is what it is. Some people take it serious, noob. Some people take it serious.
I guess.
Not everybody doesn't care about their college.
I mean, as you see here, these two games had a combined 2,000 points, no defense. Not my cup of tea. Not my cup of tea. But that brings us to the college football championship game. TCU, Georgia. People think Georgia in a walk-away win, but not so fat. Be careful with that.
Yeah, I'm not so sure. What is that line? Let's look that line up. I'll look
at 12. It was at 12 when we started this. And hey, this is the game maybe to wait if you like Georgia because TCU has been making a lot of people a lot of money, and they're the public favorite. That could creep down. Think about it.
About Mattress Mac again.
No, I'm talking just the public. People have been betting them like crazy, and they've been covering everything. And hey, kudos to them. They have overachieved more than probably any team that I can remember. At the beginning of this year, before they played us anything, TCU's win total was 6.5 games. So, I mean, they are obviously way better than that. But this game, this is the first time the Big 12, this shocked me. I didn't realize this. This is the first time the Big 12 has sent a team to the final game in the playoff era. This is the 8th in a row the SEC has been in it. But there is a Grand Canyon worth of a difference between these two teams. Before this season started, if they would have played in the first game of the regular season against each other, Georgia would have been favored by 25.
Ooh, I was going to guess 28.
Yeah. I don't know.
I can see it, man. I just, with what's on the line this time of year, kids' minds are, I mean, these are kids. I mean, kids' minds are everywhere coming off of Christmas and New Year's. I mean, it's bound to be another one of these type of games, like a 42-41. I think 12.5.
I think it has to be. If TCU wants a chance to win, that's what it has to be. I'm looking at this though, and it's just like, what did that Georgia Ohio State game tell you? I think it's that Georgia is beatable if you've got a high-powered offense. It's interesting. It's a very interesting matchup for sure.
So what would we do as the DDS crew? What would we do with this? I'm just thinking ahead. We're going to bring a new segment to season 3 of DDS. What would we do right here in our picks and our real money picks?
Yeah.
Looking at it, are we going to do spread? Do you want to do the over under? What are we doing?
My bet would be Georgia first half to cover 7 is what I would propose if we were doing that, because I think they come out and they just shellac them to get, and maybe at the end they take the foot off the brake a little bit or off the gas a little bit. But Georgia is missing their 2 best edge rushers in this game. But let's be honest, y'all, like Georgia's this is a good thing about like NFL injuries, all the backups kind of suck, right? In college, like if Georgia gets hurt, their backups are better than TCU has out there. Yeah. At least they're more highly recruited. And man, everybody talks about this Georgia defense, but the offense has outgained their opponents this year by more than 2,000 yards. That's the most in the country. And TCU, as much as I'm cheering for them, I want them to win this game. If you watch them, they are the poor man's Tennessee. It's the same type of offense, and good luck getting that ground game established against Georgia. We saw the real Tennessee, what happened against Georgia. So bringing on the TCU version, I think this could get ugly.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, you bring up a good point because, I mean, the offenses are very similar between Tennessee and TCU. And, you know, the fact that Georgia has a blueprint on how to slow that offense down or stop it completely, I think that could tell the story of how this game could go. It's a difficult thing here because I know TCU is also, aren't they playing for some kind of historic thing where they're the only team that's ever been outside of the top 25 and won the national championship or something like that at the beginning of the year?
I don't have it in front of me, but probably I got a power rating in front of me, which is usually more accurate. That they were like 44th in the country on that.
Yeah.
Right. But there is some things about Georgia while you're looking at that. Their behemoth of a man, tight end Darnell Washington, is crazy important. The last time I heard that he was questionable with the soft tissue. I haven't seen if he was officially out or not.
I think what I would do, what I would try to pitch to you two is let's tease it up to TCU plus 14.5, which is minus 140. And just take TCU plus 14.5. I think they're covering the 12.5. I really do.
I don't know.
I don't know that they win, but give me 2 full touchdowns.
Yeah, 14. I could go for that. I could go that. I think so.
The problem is in our state, you don't have props on players. That's probably really the way to go in college.
Yeah, not yet anyway.
We apologize for the extended show. We couldn't get in this show without talking about college football.
Hey, down in the comments down there, tell us what you think is going to happen here with this TCU Georgia game. What would be your bets here? What would you go with here? We're thinking TCU 14.5. I mean, that sounds reasonable.
You don't have
to
pay too much for it.
No.
Minus 140 versus what the line is. It's like, what is it? Minus 110. Yeah, 12.5 minus 110. So you're not paying too much.
No.
That's all I've got. All the thoughts there, but that leads us to our little final segment. If you hung around.
Well, did we actually? So what do we think is going to happen here in this game? We never actually.
I'm going Georgia wins, but doesn't cover.
I think I'm actually going to go Georgia wins big.
Oh.
Yeah, that's why I was pitching in the first half -7. Georgia's going to keep Bennett clean. They're going to pick the TCU team apart. I just don't think they have much of a chance. I think Georgia can run it down their throats too and just destroy them in the trenches. I hope I'm wrong because I would love to see TCU. We do other shows, folks, and here's a little prediction. I'd love to see TCU win their football and basketball championship in the same year, but I do think Georgia wins this game. I'm not kidding you. 4 touchdowns.
Whoa. Wow. Yay. That one stung a little bit right there. Straight from the man's mouth.
Parker said you don't even have to watch. Turn it over to WWE Monday Night Raw. There's nothing to see here in the college football championship.
Good grief.
More than happy to be wrong. More than
Yeah. Obviously, for entertainment purposes, I think everybody.
Hey, get together, have a drinking game, enjoy a high-scoring affair.
Absolutely.
You know, whatever.
Absolutely. Hey, one thing I can tell you is you're not going to have to worry about seeing a bunch of missed tackles in this game. That's what this offense makes you do is tackle in space.
We'll see about that with TCU.
Wow.
I saw some missed tackles against Michigan.
Yeah, it's fucking Michigan. We tackle people.
No, I'm talking about TCU missing tackles against Michigan.
Oh, I'm talking about Georgia missing TCU.
Yeah. I think we'll still see some missed tackles, but it'll be Georgia running down the sidelines.
Well, yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah,
I would agree with that. What else? Is that it? Is that all we got?
That's all I've got for the show.
Parker, you got anything you want to touch on?
We gotta. Well,
Did you want to go, Mr. Harbaugh?
Yeah, there's some controversy right now surrounding the University of Michigan. Funny you should mention it.
Final thought.
I thought.
No.
I thought that was the topic. That's my bad.
We'll go right to the Michigan football program has been under NCAA investigation and expects to receive a notice of allegations by Friday today. Source told The Athletic. What's the latest on Harbaugh? I mean, this was like right after he said, "Oh, I intend to come back. I'm coming back.
What was it? It was something centering around them doing like Zoom workouts, like workouts via Zoom, and like him observing people doing the workouts.
What a dork.
in a non evaluation period or something like that. This is the thing. First off, does anybody take the freaking NCAA serious anymore?
No.
Does anyone give a damn? Does anybody in the Big Ten give a shit what the NCAA says?
No.
So why does it matter? Bill Self is down there running a Ponzi scheme at Kansas with basketball, and they're not doing shit to him.
No.
I mean, Tennessee kind of self-imposed everything, so they didn't have to do anything. LSU's down there openly paying for players, and they didn't do shit about that. So who cares what the NCAA says?
No.
I am on Harbaugh's side here if he just tells them to go fly a kite.
I want to hear it, Parker.
So you're right. It doesn't matter what the NCAA says. It's going to be 5 level 1 complaints. The problem is one of them is Harbaugh didn't cooperate with investigators. And guys, this is it. It may not matter what the NCAA says, but in Harbaugh's little letter he put out, he's like, I expect to be back and really excitingly prepare for this. It was something really worded strange. Let me take you back to a time at USC when this same type of thing with Pete Carroll happened, and he looked for a way to sneak out the back. So let me tell you, fellas, this is it. He is done. He is out of Michigan. Joe Moore, one of the assistants, is going to be up, and he is going to be, if Mike McDaniel gets fired, which would be the stupidest thing ever, he will be the coach at Miami. If he is not the coach at Miami, he will be where he played quarterback, and that is in Indianapolis.
Coach, yes, sir.
That is it. He's done. I'm calling it. This is his way to sneak out of this and to well, they were going to fire me. No, this is his way to sneak out of the back door.
Super, super spicy stuff. Love hearing it. I love it when people just tell the NCAA, they just laugh in the NCAA's face. But guys, hey, that was a show as far as I'm concerned. Is that everybody's show? Is that everybody got?
I'm searching for
All right. Well, while you're doing
Another,
that, guys, what's that?
Nothing. I was going to tell him to Google Sam Hartman. That could be his other final.
No. All right. Well, guys, we really appreciate you joining us tonight on DDS Sports Talk. While you're heading out, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. Share this with all your friends. Check us out on all our social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter at DDS Sports Talk. You can also download all the audio versions of this podcast on your favorite podcasting platform. Gentlemen, final thoughts.
Well, while Bradley's looking there.
I've got one.
Oh.
He's perked up when he said that. Jeez. Oh, no.
There it is. The board of directors have spoken. And one Vincent Kennedy McMahon is set to return to the WWE. After allegations, time has passed. I think he's ready to come back. On this news, the stock is way up in the past week. He is ready to come back, and I believe he's planning to sell the WWE. Look out that it might be Comcast. Just a little prediction.
Lord have mercy.
Blake, this is why he can't tell the difference between people faking it or quitting. Just do much of the WWE hole there. And I'm going to go. My final thought, y'all, run to the betting windows and take the first quarterback to be taken in this year's draft. We've got some digging to do and more podcasts. I just started this a couple of days ago, and I'm telling you right now, it's going to be Mayo Boy. He is going to be the first quarterback taken to this draft. Go out there.
That might be the first bet on the new DDS DraftKings account.
Is that what we're really – are we going to mock that in the offseason?
Well, we've got time to look at it, but I'm telling you right now, get ready to hear the stuff about how Stroud's not that good. Get ready to hear about how he's too small down there in Alabama.
Yep.
Get ready. They always fall in love. The GMs always fall in love with the big, white, strong guy. Like it just is. Daniel Jones. Go back through time, fellas. I'm serious. It just is what it is. You're going to hear the Josh Allen comp over and over and over again. And let me tell you, the Josh Allen comp is actually a different guy. It's Anthony Richardson. But we can talk about that later. Will Levis, first quarterback taken.
Kentucky Durban, if you're listening at this point of the podcast, go ahead and let us know what you think about Will Levis going number 1 to the Houston Texans in this upcoming draft.
Like anybody gives a shit. Guys, but in all seriousness, thoughts and prayers out to DeMar Hamlin. I also want to give a big shout out to the first responders. I don't think anybody really realizes how close this was to being a very tragic situation happening live on TV in front of everybody. Those guys, they saved his life. Everybody needs to find a first responder and tell them how much they appreciate them. They are lifesavers, guys.
My hat's off.
As always, it is two-tone blue all the way, you guys.